Welcome to Solutionaries, where we talk to creative problem solvers in our communities who are making things better. Today, solutions for food insecurity, solutions to our most basic need. It affects millions across the country, according to the USDA, but there are solutionaries in multiple states tackling the problem head on. In Houston, a look at some of our most vulnerable. Babies who are just days, weeks, or months old. A national formula shortage has families reeling, but one mother is crowdsourcing help and resources to create solutions. Just outside Orlando, our team found when schools are out, sometimes so are consistent meals.
Do you think you're making a difference?
Yes, I feel it every day.
But a summer food service program is filling the gap. In Jacksonville, we're tackling food deserts. Meet a group ensuring healthy, fresh foods are available for those in need, while also giving a sense of purpose to many. In San Antonio, the battle against food swamps. Too much fast food, processed snacks, and other dietary pitfalls. In Roanoke, you'll meet the Moo Crew.
It makes you feel great. It makes you feel great to give back to a community that's done so much for me.
Find out how their solution to food insecurity is catching on. In Detroit, a look at not just food insecurity, but nutrition insecurity.
It's not just about getting them people food, but it's about getting them the right food.
I'm Louis Bolden. This is Solutionaries.
There are food deserts all across America, in urban and rural areas. A food desert is a neighborhood where residents do not have access to fresh and nutritious fruits, vegetables, and meats. Instead of grocery stores and farmers markets, people here have corner marts, dollar stores, and gas stations. These sell mainly low-priced and low-quality processed foods. To make matters worse, many people don't have cars to get to grocery stores. The USDA found nearly 40 million people, or 13% of the population, live in a food desert. We looked at 6 cities across the country. Houston has nearly 100 food deserts. San Antonio, 70. Detroit with nearly 45. Orlando and Jacksonville have 40. Roanoke has 10. In each of these places, as many as 15% of households don't have a car. A Johns Hopkins study found these areas have lower levels of education, lower income, higher rates of unemployment, and they are disproportionately black. Attracting grocery stores to these areas is difficult because they typically don't produce profits, as residents here have less money to spend.
I don't see a grocery store around here, just some gas stations.
Right, so you won't see grocery stores, but what you will see are liquor stores. No shortage of those. No shortage of convenience stores. No shortage of Dollar Generals, Family Dollars, none of which support or sell fresh produce.
It's called a food desert. It's an urban area where it's difficult to buy affordable or good quality fresh food, and it affects nearly 40 million Americans.
People who are affluent have many choices, and people not so much. And so when you have a great income and a lot of automobiles, you can simply just get in your car and drive to Whole Foods or drive to Fresh Market or drive to Sprouts, but you don't have those options here. Many people don't.
What are the problems with people who don't have access to that fresh food?
Yeah, so people who don't have access to fresh food survive on processed foods, survive on sugar, survive on a lot of carbs. And that translates, that's long reaching. So it has consequences beyond that dinner table. It impacts children's ability to learn, children's ability to grow and thrive.
Mika Hardison-Carr hopes to be a part of the solution, even if her part is small.
I am the owner of the Urban Bee, and I am also the beekeeper here at White Harvest Farms. Oh, and I run the community garden.
Okay, so you wear many hats.
Many.
So my name's Mallory Shaw and I'm farm manager at White Harvest Farms. We are here to eradicate a food desert. We're here to increase access to fresh fruits and vegetables, teach people about growing their own, how to keep bees, how to grow vegetables, and how to live a healthier, more fulfilling life. This is full of vegetables and, fresh flowers and fruits that have an impact directly on people's lives. People eat this food and, it helps them.
People can use food stamps or cash to buy the produce, or they can get it in exchange for helping out on the farm. The result? In the past year, the team has grown 4,677 pounds of fresh food. Volunteers visiting the farm 710 times. 196 people have attended free farming and cooking classes. 574 have used the farmers market.
Why is gardening important to you?
Well, first I wanted to grow my own food, be able to provide myself with healthy alternatives that are not necessarily available in the stores that are in my neighborhood.
So how has it changed your life?
Oh, tremendously. It's been so good to be able to have access to my own healthy foods. I've lost weight, I feel better, and also just it's a good stress reliever.
There are other nonprofits with a similar mission. This one, just a few miles away, supports a food bank.
This is literally urban farming. This community garden is right on the edge of a city park. Over there, government housing. Behind us, the Boys and Girls Club. It is centrally located where people need it the most.
It offers everything from fresh fruits and veggies to eggs.
As a physician, what does it mean for people to have fresh fruits and vegetables?
Well, we have a t-shirt and on the back of it says your health is your wealth, and eating right is part of being healthy. Exercise is part of being healthy. Getting outside in the garden is exercise, and we hope to expand this and start allowing some of the community to come in and start growing their own food too.
And you know what they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
I just really wanted to welcome you guys to Midway School of the Arts. It's an incredible space where we welcome the community and hundreds of our summer school learners and make sure that nutritious and delicious meals are available to them every day. My name is Richard Miles. I'm the Assistant Director for Red Apple Dining at Seminole County Public Schools. So this is where some of the action happens. Michelle's actually preparing some of the pizzas today. That's one of the selections that our students have. We make our own pizzas here. We don't buy it frozen. Actually, that mozzarella was even shredded earlier today. So we do low-fat shredded mozzarella cheese. We do a very clean tomato sauce, vine-ripened tomatoes, olive oil. Those are some of our primary ingredients.
They come in and they'll say, oh, I'm so hungry this morning. And you're like, well, why are you so hungry? No, I didn't eat last night. Well, that just, inside why they didn't eat. And it just kind of rips at your heart. And you're like, okay, let's get you everything that you can get to eat. And let's make you happy. And you come see me at lunchtime and we're going to get you another full plate.
I do want to stop for just a moment here and make sure that everyone understands that we are open to everyone. So there is no one that has to be a Seminole County resident, nor do they have to have...
It's not just school.
It's not just school. You don't have to be enrolled. Anyone can come on out and we welcome them to do so. So the Summer Food Service Program is a special opportunity in which we're able to attach ourselves to funding that feeds all children, because they know children move around in the summertime. They could be at an aunt's house or a grandparent's house.
Are you concerned about some families who may just barely not qualify for the free and reduced lunch program and still may have some trouble making ends meet on the other side?
If there is anyone that's come into hardship or special circumstances, there is a method for us to take care of them as well. It's just really important that you go to our website, that you give us a call so that we can help you and your family and find out exactly what your needs are. If someone recently lost their job or became transit in their home situation, there's special methods available to help take care of those families too.
There you go, sweetheart. I like Wednesday days because they give us pizza and stuff. And also I like Fridays and Mondays.
Pizza day can be kind of overwhelming when you're making 80 pizzas.
You think you're making a difference?
Yes, I feel it every day. Especially when I see a lot of my students after they've grown up and they still remember me and they're like, oh, you used to be, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, how you doing? I'm doing great, I remember you. They said, you always used to smile and you were so nice to us. So you know you've touched their hearts.
Food banks. You've probably seen a lot about them lately. But did you know the concept is more than 50 years old? So who started it? A guy by the name of John Van Hingel. He was known as the father of food banking after founding St. Mary's Food Bank, the world's first food bank, in 1967. Since then, food banks have sprouted up all over the world. Community refrigerators and other resources have become valuable to communities too. But we still have major food insecurity issues across the country. According to feedingamerica.org, there are about 1.3 million food insecure in the state of Michigan, about 800,000 in Virginia, more than 2.5 million in Florida, and 4 million plus in Texas. Across the country, there are more than 35 million people lacking enough affordable, nutritious food. The need is great, and there are many ways you can help. Scan the QR code on the screen to find out how you can be part of the solution.
Well, we had a nice day for this, huh? Morning.
For me personally, it's hard for one person to do something alone, but when you get with a group like Rocky Mount Rotary.
Is that it?
2 gallons.
Okay, we got it?
Yep. You can do so much more as a group.
Thanks, guys. I'm Bill Jacobson. I'm a member of the Rocky Mount Rotary Club. Well, the Muku really was a brainchild of our president, Joey Cornwell. And Joey was a dairy farmer, grew up as a dairy farmer, and there are a lot of dairy farmers that are in our Rotary Club. So he had this challenge through Rotary International, and we needed to come up with something we could do as a club in addition to the little free pantries, which is something we also do. So he decided that the Moo Crew would be created. Every week we have a little cup in the middle of our tables and we put dollars in there, and that helps pay for us to deliver milk every Tuesday, and that's the Moo Crew.
Through today, we have delivered 388 gallons of milk. I'm Jay Perlman with Rocky Mount Rotary.
How you doing, buddy? Good. How y'all doing? Good.
Jay, how you doing?
Living the dream.
Hey,
How about
good,
you? It makes you feel great. It makes you feel great to give back to a community that's done so much for me and my family.
Would you like to have some onions?
Yeah.
Just came out of the garden.
Oh, yeah, great.
All righty. My name is Wayne Clemens, and I volunteer here at the Covers. I enjoy doing it. It's one thing I look forward to every week, coming up here and working and giving food out to people that need it. You can get 2 back here and 1 up there? Yes, please. If I can get them in here. And anybody that comes here and asks for food, hallelujah, we give it to them. We don't say, you know, do you need it, this, that, the other. If they come here, we think that they need it, so we give them food.
It helps me not to have to struggle so much. You know, you'd be amazed. There's things down here that I normally wouldn't buy because I can't afford some of it, you know. But yeah, it helps a lot.
By putting food on the table, things has gotten so expensive, you know, now at the grocery stores. This is a big help.
What would it be like without this?
Well, you'd probably do without a lot. Do the best that we can.
We usually give them milk and bread and meat, and cereal, and we give them some fruit, and vegetables, and different things.
Well, I know they put out a lot. It's volunteer work, and the effort is there.
All righty, you have a good day, ma'am.
You have a blessed one.
Thank you, ma'am.
It shows that our community cares about their people.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It hurts. It does. I mean, just hard for me to believe that, you know, in this area that's going on. And I worry about it. I mean, I really do. And doing what we do, you know, as far as delivering the milk, it makes you feel good, but still, you know, it's still in the back of your mind that there are people, you know, that don't have. And luckily we're able to give some back.
All right, guys. Today I heard what you guys are doing. We appreciate it. We'd like to donate it today to you guys. All right.
Thank
with
you
the
so much.
$250 gift card for the donation for the community.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. No problem.
Thank you for it.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Today's paid for.
Yeah.
And then another $250. So what will that mean?
That means we can continue doing more.
That was great news. Very great news. Kroger, A1. I mean, oh my goodness. I have some great news for you.
Good, good.
This morning we went and picked up our milk.
Good.
And Fritz, the manager at Kroger, not only paid for the milk today, also is donating $250 to Rotary to keep the milk coming, and also donating $250 to you over here at his cupboard.
Oh, well, that'd be great. We can use that money. We use it, buy some bread each week for the people. And we're about to run out of the bread money, so that will come in handy. We can use it for that.
Good stuff.
Well, that'll be great.
That's good stuff.
Very good, very good. And we appreciate all y'all do and bringing the milk to us. And
Wayne.
where we'll be able to, you know, help the people that come here. So
it's our pleasure.
That's what we're here for, to help people. God supplies the food, and we're here to give it out to the people that need it.
Amen.
Be sure to subscribe to our Solutionaries channel. We're just getting started.
An area the U.S. Department of Agriculture calls a food desert, a low-income area where the nearest grocery store is more than a mile away. Having limited access to nutritious food can be damaging.
We know that in District 3, we have some of the highest diabetes rates in the entire city of San Antonio. We're continuing to grow out there with single-family housing as well as multifamily housing, and we still do not have a grocery store out there.
The Healthy Corner Stores program started up in 2019 on the south side. It's now expanded to over 30 stores all across the city.
We're working in areas that just have low access to food, specifically healthy, fresh fruits and vegetables.
For those living near corner stores, this program has changed their lives.
In the past year, we've sold over 100,000 pounds of produce out of all of our stores.
There's really nothing out here. It's usually a hassle, so we get it delivered to us.
That way we don't drive so far. I have a newborn and it's hard to get to there and come back.
The San Antonio Food Bank's mobile mercado is bringing residents in food desert areas access to free fruits and veggies and other healthy foods at a very affordable price.
So I'm Eric Cooper, President and CEO of the San Antonio Food Bank. I've actually been at the food bank here in San Antonio for 21 years. When it comes to food insecurity, that's a term used for families that don't know where their next meal's coming from. The mobile mercado is designed to do just that. It is designed in some ways to provide hydration to the food desert, to give people access to good, healthy food right at the curb. Sometimes people use a term called a food swamp. That's a geographical area that maybe the density of fast food or fried foods is high, and oftentimes a food swamp can be located in a food desert, which just means that that community has a higher probability of high rates of heart disease, high rates of diabetes, high rates of chronic tension.
It's tight for everybody right now, just with everything going on. So the prices are increasing in some places as well. So it really, really helps everybody in the community with all of their needs.
At every mobile mercado location, there's also a nutritionist who can make tasty meals with healthy ingredients found in the truck.
We want them to learn how to incorporate those fruits and vegetables that they're getting from the mercado into their everyday meals for themselves and their families.
Nutrition education, helping families understand how to shop a grocery store, how to get the best nutrition for the dollar, and then what are the quick fix ideas so that you can make nutrition quick, easy, simple. You know, our nutritionists talk about the drawer of good intentions in all of our refrigerators. It's usually the produce drawer, right? You bought it thinking, oh, I'm gonna make this, but then you didn't, and then you threw it away. And so those good intentions will never nourish you. It's not healthy unless you actually eat it. The knowledge of how to turn those fresh produce items into a delicious meal is what the food bank does all the time through the mobile mercado and our different educational classes on site here at the food bank and out in the community.
It's just not a good feeling to be on edge at every moment. Is my baby going to eat today?
What kind of world do we live in? I'm like, how is baby formula missing?
We had tried everything for her. Sorry. It's definitely a sense of anger or betrayal that we feel, because if the government was aware of this, we kind of should have been more proactive.
The head of the Food and Drug Administration on the hot seat, facing congressional scrutiny over the baby formula shortage and the whistleblower complaint regarding Abbott's facility.
Potentially putting babies at risk and forcing parents to play a game of Russian roulette.
Pandemic, the war in Ukraine, and labor supply issues have all had an impact.
At the beginning of the year, there was an 8% shortage of formula, and today that's estimated to be 30%.
Texas has been hit particularly hard. The formula out-of-stock rate here is now 50%.
I give everybody an F on the entire spectrum of this, from the company itself to the FDA oversight.
I've directed my team to do everything possible to ensure there's enough safe baby formula and that it's quickly reaching families that need it the most.
The sight of the first Operation Fly Formula aircraft touching down from Europe brings some relief.
I'm glad that somebody is listening.
As parents scramble to find baby formula, the Better Business Bureau is issuing a warning about potential scams.
There's a lot of new moms out there that are very nervous and very upset because they can't find it in the store. So the next natural thing to do is to go online. Not everybody is completely honest.
If your baby is healthy and is at least 6 months of age, you can give whole milk again with some iron fortification temporarily, 2 or 3 days.
We do not recommend making formula at home.
If we don't fill this gap,
families will attempt to fill the gap themselves by choosing to dilute their available formula or choosing to feed their infants something not made for infants. That cannot happen.
Moms turning to all of their resources to help feed their child.
A wonderful mom in Maryland actually said, I have this sample can of formula, I can mail it to you. And I said, great, just tell me what the shipping cost is in your Venmo and I'll pay you back. And she said, oh, just consider it a gift.
In a way, I was helping facilitate crowdsourcing of information for people to just constantly look and check for updates and go out and seek out the formula that they need.
What I realize in all of this is you cannot beat a mama. Mamas will do whatever we can to make sure their children are taken care of.
Be sure to subscribe to our Solutionaries channel. We're just getting started.
If Anders is 14 weeks, this has been going on for 13 weeks. And people have not realized the severity of this.
At the beginning of the year, there was an 8% shortage of formula, and today that's estimated to be 30%.
Texas has been hit particularly hard. The formula out of stock rate here is now 50%.
You go into Kroger, Randall's, Target, Walmart, the shelves are empty.
Haley, this is something that you can relate to.
Yeah, you guys know I had 2 babies during the pandemic and I had trouble finding baby formula the whole time. For me, it was hit or miss. Sometimes online orders were canceled. But as you heard just now, parents are getting increasingly more scared and the shortage has gotten worse.
Myself am down to 1 can of formula and I can't find his formula anywhere.
You cannot beat a mama. Mamas will do whatever we can to make sure their children are taken care of.
It's really nice to see that network of parents coming together and helping each other out because we are all going through this together. People are willing to help. People have stepped up. We're all in it for the same reason, is because we care. We all have kids. We all care about feeding them. And so it hits close to home. I'm a working mom. I have a 9-month-old at home. We don't use formula, but just feeding him every day and just, the amount of work it takes. And I was walking through store aisles and I got to see the formula shortage in person and very, very little options. I wanted to try to see if I could help in any way that I could. And I remembered about this map that an old classmate of mine came up with. I decided to create a map of my own for this formula shortage. And the idea behind it was for people to go out into their local stores and pinpoint from home that they're willing to donate formula, and they're able to put in the description what kind of formula it is and even upload pictures. In a way, I was helping facilitate crowdsourcing of information for people to just constantly look and check for updates and go out and seek out the formula that they need. There's need formula, there's can donate formula, there's need breast milk, there's can donate breast milk, there's also milk banks. I would actually encourage those that are looking for breast milk to go that way rather than by other ways because it's safer that way. The last one is formula in store. So whenever you get to the map, if I were to go to a store and I saw some formula that I needed, I click on the green little pinpoint, I search for the place, I select a category, so in this case I'm at a store, so I click formula in store. The title could be something like the brand of the formula that helps draw people's attention. And then in the description, I would write something about how many cans that I'm seeing or the variety of brands, because some stores are more well-stocked than others. And then there's the option to add pictures as well. So when I click on add pictures, it automatically brings up through my phone's camera the ability to just take the picture right then and there and upload it. So that way people can actually see what you're seeing at the store. It's felt really good, even if it only, when I first started the map and I heard about like maybe 2 or 3 families reaching out to me, thanking me about the map, even just if I help like 1 or 2 families out of all of this, that makes me feel good because that means a baby's being fed.
probably seen this quote before: "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." And that quote is most often attributed to this guy, Hippocrates, widely known as the father of medicine, and he said it way back in 400 BC. Except he didn't. Scholars have looked, and it isn't anywhere in his writings. The first mention of it was in 1926 in a fad diet book from one of the first health gurus in Los Angeles. But just because it doesn't come from the best place doesn't mean it isn't true. Across the U.S., more than 11 million people are considered food insecure by the USDA. But there's another problem. It's what's known as nutrition insecurity. And that's most easily shown like this.
I thought the best way to show this was through Venn diagrams on a whiteboard, because nutrition insecurity is more than just not having enough to eat. It actually breaks down into three things. The first is pretty simple. Is there enough food for you to eat? And is it near you? Usually within a half a mile is best. If you can get there, is that food healthy? A big problem in a lot of cities all across the country. And last is access. Can you get to that food, if at all? A lot of times people don't have cars, and the public transit is bad. Also, access is cost. Some of that food can be very expensive. And in all of these places where this overlaps, you find another problem. Healthcare costs also on the rise, often because people have to spend money to get healthcare, and they have healthcare needs because they haven't been getting the food that they need.
In 2022, the Michigan Food Security Council found healthcare costs from food and nutrition insecurity were more than $1.8 billion every year. And most of those are chronic health problems like diabetes, heart disease, and hypertension. It creates this sort of loop. People can't get the healthy food because they can't afford it, which makes them food insecure, which makes their health problems worse, which means they have to spend money on healthcare, but then they can't afford the food they need. People trapped in this loop of poverty, poor health, and hunger. And it happens year after year. The council saying there is often a perpetual cycle of income restriction, food insecurity, and adverse health outcomes, which is incredibly difficult to break. But there is a program in Detroit working to make food medicine and to help break that cycle of poor nutrition, poor health, and high costs.
When you're in the office and they say, well, to manage your diabetes, you need to eat these foods in this way. And then you realize that you want to manage your diabetes, you want to avoid the complications of, non-traumatic amputations, blindness, heart disease, all of those things that go with diabetes. And yet when you go home, you don't have access to the very things that your provider and your team within the healthcare setting told you about.
Dr. Kimberly Dawn Wisdom is with Henry Ford Hospitals in Detroit. She helps lead programs called Henry's Groceries that deliver food right to people's doors, and a program called Fresh Prescriptions, or Fresh RX, which helps put people on specific healthy food plans depending on their specific needs.
So what happens is when individuals go and meet with their doctor will say, okay, eat better. But oftentimes as physicians, we're not trained on how you need to eat better for your particular condition. So this way, we don't have to have all that nutrition expertise. We actually can refer you to a community educator that we link the person with.
In 2015, the programs started with just a handful of people. Nearly a decade later, they've ballooned to help cover more than 1,300, which in a city like Detroit, where 50% of the residents are food insecure, it may not seem like a lot, but it is a start. And we know these programs really work. In a study in Preventative Medicine Reports that looked at the number from these programs in Detroit, took a look at levels of A1C, which measured blood sugar. Those levels have to be closely monitored for people with diabetes. The study found that just $10 a week for 2 months for fresh, healthy food helped lower blood sugar levels dramatically, while people who didn't get that money saw their levels rise.
So these programs work in a few key ways. The first is just getting people food. Programs like Fresh RX already do that right to their door. Also making sure that that food is healthy, just like before, and also these are prescribed diets. In most cases, the food is healthy even when it's not. The last one is the most important one, education. So often people don't know how to prepare their new healthy food or don't know how to prepare it in a healthy way. These programs try to make sure that all three of these things happen so they can help alleviate some of those chronic issues.
It's not just about food. It's about food that is nutrition dense, that has the right calories, because all food is not the same.
In places all across the country, there are plans like Henry's Groceries and Fresh RX, and during the pandemic, they were invaluable, but they simply don't go far enough.
Okay, one more Venn diagram. It seems like this should be a thing that we can solve on a wider scale, but there are major hurdles standing in the way. The first is funding. So many of these programs are cobbled together by grants and donations, meaning sometimes that money can dry up or they have to meet strict standards. The second is insurance often doesn't cover these kinds of programs or these diets, only in cases that are really specific, like after weight loss surgeries or people with wasting conditions. Finally, it's follow-up from doctors. So often a doctor will prescribe a new diet or say you need to eat healthy, but then not be able to follow up with their patient, or that patient falls through the cracks, and tracking them down can be time-consuming and really expensive.
So even if Hippocrates didn't say food is medicine, he's definitely famous for something else, which makes this all come full, circle. The oath that doctors take, the Hippocratic Oath, is named after Hippocrates, and it says do no harm. And that's exactly what programs like Fresh RX and Henry's Groceries do. No harm, with the hopes of erasing this problem for good.
We'd like to hear what you think about the topic. Leave us a comment below. And be sure to subscribe to our Solutionaries channel. We're just getting started.